The purpose of our meditation practice is to enable us to develop stillness, to develop focus, to be able to experience peace, relaxation, well-being, and to investigate Dhamma. It can be easeful for us. It can be easy to make the most of our time, our meditation time, and really feel that we're able to apply attention in a good way, in a wholesome way, and to begin to investigate the Dharma very deeply. On the other hand, sometimes it can be really difficult to meditate. We can feel that it's very hard to maintain any kind of degree of focus, and indeed we can notice that the mind is running around here and there, all sorts of thoughts, all sorts of feelings bubbling up for us. We can feel somewhat distracted, and we can forget about our meditation or the fact that we are meditating, or there is such a thing as meditation, for swathes of time during the sitting. This is all practice, isn't it? And this is all very helpful because we get to assess the situation. We get to see what's going on here. What is the nature of this mind? How does it operate? What is perception? How is it functioning? What is the state of mind here? Without sitting and making time and putting in the effort to develop mindfulness in this way, to try to develop samadhi in this way, we wouldn't have a clue what was going on really, because we're programmed, aren't we? We're conditioned to kind of roll with samsara, to move from this to that and then to the next thing. And there's really not a lot of space often, is there, in our lives between events or between dhammas, between experiences. We go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And the amazing and beautiful thing about meditation is that we're stopping. We're attempting to stop. We're actually making some space here, aren't we? And giving the mind a chance to kind of unravel, to kind of reveal itself as it deconditions. And all we really have to do to enable this process is to stop reacting, to stop doing, to stop receiving information through the sense doors, just to be willing, isn't it? To be willing to renounce the world, be willing to let go of all those compelling, fascinating, all the momentum of our lives, and to make this precious, this very sacred time. And then we get to begin to appreciate what is it we're actually dealing with here? What is the situation? And we start to come to fundamental understanding. There's a body here, there's form, there are feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. There is mind, there is volition, there's thinking, there's perceptions, there's ideas, certain ways we understand the world. We label and pigeonhole and have our take on reality. We can see all of this. We can see how we're programmed. We can see how we're conditioned. We can see the consciousness that is receiving all the information from the outside world and weaving it together, knitting it together to create a sense of continuity, a sense of somebody, a sense of past and future, me and mine. And all of this we can begin to observe, begin to witness. The Buddha said in the Vatthūpama Sutta, in Majjhima Nikaya, number 7, the simile of the cloth. This mind is like a cloth that is stained with different colors, blotches and splotches. And in some way it's dirty, it's not consistent, it's not white, it's not pure, it's not clean. And when we practice meditation, we're having a good look at this cloth and we're beginning to discern, how is it? How does it really look? What's going on? What colors are there here? What kind of stains might there be? And we're washing the cloth. We're washing it clean. We're actually not doing anything particularly. We're simply allowing the natural process of purification to take place, because we're willing to stop, to let go of the world. When we do this, when we stop running on the rat race, running in the world, when we stop creating and doing and making and compelling ourselves in different ways, when the momentum slows down, we can start to appreciate, we can observe. Through our meditation, we can actually see this cleaning process going on. Because what does the mind do? It will focus on the stains. The mind wants to be clean. The chitta is clean. So the stains, the blotches and splotches that sully the cloth, are what come to our attention. And all we have to do is observe and see, what is the suffering here? What is the issue here? What is not completely at peace? Where is there some energy that's playing out? Something unresolved, something uncomfortable. And the Buddha said in this sutta, the simile of the cloth, he said there are different ways in which we can examine the mind. We can observe different issues, different kilesa, different defilements that actually are the stains that are sullying this cloth. And we can simply note and observe them and see where there's anger, where there's hatred, where there's aversion, where there's greed, wanting, where there's holding, covetousness, wanting to hold on to mind states or objects or whatever it may be, holding tight. We can see conceit and vanity. We can see obstinacy, aggression. The Buddha lists in this sutta the 16 upakilesa. And it's beautiful to actually consider, do I know these? Do I experience these? Are these playing out for me now? Are these causing my restlessness? Are these the reason why I can't focus? If we examine carefully and look at the mind, we can label in this way. We can see that the reason mindfulness is not constantly peacefully and skillfully present for us in every moment is because something else will be there. Something will be obscuring that peacefulness and clarity. That is staining the cloth. Some color, some discoloration will be there. And it's a very helpful thing to consider in this way the reasons why the mind is agitated, is restless, when that is the case. And what's really important about this is to recognize that in this teaching, as in all the teachings of the Buddha, this is not about me and my problems. This is not about me and how awful I am. This is not about self-hatred, self-loathing, shame, or humiliation. It's about Dhamma. This is how it is. These human hearts are tainted until they're not, until the suffering, the imperfections are seen, are witnessed, understood. Then the human heart is like a stained cloth. It's not like my stained cloth. This particular egg yolk stain on the cloth is not mine. It's just an egg yolk stain. It's just a tinge of jealousy. There's a tinge of jealousy that comes up from time to time. Okay, let me have a look at this. This is interesting. Let's see how long this lasts. Under scrutiny, how does it feel? How does it feel when I have these jealous thoughts? What's happening in the body? Can I observe the breath and just see how the system is wired for this emotion and how this emotion arises due to certain causes and conditions. When I see somebody getting something that I would like, when I see somebody getting praise that I would like, and I'm feeling a lack, this feeling might come up. And what's it like and how is it? And through this kind of investigation, we can really notice, can't we, that these kilesa, these impurities in the mind, are actually in some way appeased. In some way they are helped. They are healed through attention, wise attention, and kind attention. We can definitely benefit ourselves, this practice and the process of it, the ability to move through difficult mind states when we bring in kindness, bring in loving kindness, bring in compassion. Because just like a good friend suffering under some difficult mind state, angry or upset in some way, how would we want to respond to them? We would have sympathy, we would have empathy, we would want them to be well. We would wish them a quick resolution of this difficulty. In the same way, when we're assailed by some kind of afflictive emotion, unwholesome mind states come up, then we can really consider, in this way, this isn't me, this isn't mine, this is a painful, this is a very distressed state that is present now. And compassion, loving kindness quite automatically start to be generated. It's a natural response to suffering. So we can tune into that and we can respond just as we would for anybody else who's suffering. Let this one also receive the kindness and consideration and respect that we accord others. And slowly but surely, when we work with these defilements, all these different painful mind states in our practice, this is one way of relating to our practice. When there's distraction, when there are defilements, when the hindrances are up, we can consider what is actually going on, what is the nature of this affliction. And we might, in this process, remember certain things. We might have some sense of past misdeeds. Some sense of remorse may come up. There may be a powerful sense of injustice or righteous indignation may come up. We may feel we've been wronged. And this can be very difficult sometimes to let go of. A sense of injustice, a sense of things not being in the right place. But we don't really want to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic endlessly, even though they should be reorganized. Things shouldn't be in a mess. It's true, but the ship is sinking, and it's really important to be aware of that and to make that the object of our attention. It's like the climate situation. We're in a climate emergency. Who knows what's going to happen? Time is short. Life is unpredictable. It's good to try and help situations when we can, but most importantly, we need to know what's going on. We need to understand what's happening here. Everything else will flow from this place of mindfulness, this place of wise attention, this place of skillful use of time, skillful use of energy, to pay attention here and to notice the kilesa, to see anger, fear, anxiety, dread, distress, not to react, not to operate when these emotions are up for us, but to actually give them the attention that they're seeking, give them the attention that they need. And in this way, we're really attending to the Buddha's first noble truth, the noble truth of dukkha, that this world is not ideal. It never will be. And this heart, this mind, may not be ideal at this moment, There may be some obstruction. There may be some kilesa. There may be some hindrance. This is dukkha. This is to be attended to. And so we wash the cloth. We allow the cloth to be washed. Let ourselves understand that this is what's happening. Understanding that when we stop and we practice and we make time for mindfulness to develop, this is what's happening. We're cleaning up. We're cleaning up the mess here. And then we can devote our time and energy to whatever needs to be done in the world. But first and always to keep checking in and cleaning up the mess here. A well-laundered cloth is the only one that can clean up a mess out there. There's no point trying to clean up a mess with a dirty cloth. You might even make things more dirty. So to be able to know when we need to stop and attend to the situation right here. This is the one place where we have agency, where we actually can make a difference. It really behooves us to give as much time for practice as we can, to really consider the stains of the world. What are the stains of this world? What are the defilements in the world? Greed, hatred, conceit, obstinacy, jealousy, envy, and so forth. Look at Sutta number 7 in Majjhima. Check out the list of 16 upakilesas. All the issues, all the problems can really be defined in this simple way. There's just this much dirt and pain and defilement in the world. So, okay, let's see what pieces are here. How much can I find in this human heart? How much can I observe here? And through observing and facing and being willing to be with difficulty, obscuration, discomfort, we can clean up this much. And this is something so precious and so valuable. This is the best use of our time. The Buddha said in the same sutta, it's like taking a piece of gold and putting it in a crucible. To get refined, we have to burn it, to develop a sense of urgency, to turn up the heat on our practice. As the heat goes up on the planet, we can turn up the heat in our practice. The Buddha said we could consider our situation to be just like a person whose house is on fire. Not only that, but their hair is on fire and they're in the house. What do you want to do? Get out as quickly as possible and put out the fire. This is an urgent matter for us. What fire can we really skillfully attend to? It's the one here. When the cloth gets cleaned, when the gold gets refined, then you can take the gold out of the furnace. Then you can use the cloth to clean up the mess, which is always waiting to be cleaned up. Then the gold can cool down. And we can experience this coolness as we work with, as we sit with and struggle in our practice to be with difficult states, as we patiently endure, as we come again and again to sit. However difficult, however challenging it may be, we give it time. We keep our daily practice going. We make the effort as we do this process of refinement, of cleaning, cleansing, purifying. It goes on, and it's often quite slow and it's often quite imperceptible, but slowly but surely a coolness, relaxing, and easefulness, a little bit more vision, a little bit of a broader view, a little bit more equanimity can come in. So as we develop these qualities, we can see the bigger picture, bigger and bigger picture. Understanding comes to us. What a relief. So to allow ourselves to really make time, give space, and attend to the defilements, attend to the obstacles. When we sit, they'll always come to the fore for us. If there's anything that's obscuring the view, then we get to notice that one day at a time, patiently attending, giving our energy, practicing right effort, allowing the unwholesome to fade away by recognizing the Kilesa as they arise when they're present. That's all that's required, is just to see them. Because when we see and we're willing to give attention to and feel how it is when the mind is angry, when the mind is fearful, when the mind is anxious, or we're craving something or other, just to feel what that's like is to know dukkha. And when we know dukkha, we understand the dukkha, the mind will naturally let go. The letting go will happen quite naturally. We simply have to be able to discern, to give time, to attend to the Kilesa, to the hindrances. It's something we can be doing, not just in our meditation practice, of course. Meditation time, the formal meditation, is the time we can really relax into the practice, and then we can apply the mindfulness in our work with our colleagues. When we have to reprimand somebody, we're present for it. When we have to deal with difficult situations in the world, first and foremost, we're present. We're gauging, we're assessing. Is there anything here? Is there any unwholesome? Is there any unskillful mind state here? What's happening? How is it in the body? And so we can keep assessing the situation within. And in this way, we're making right effort. We're allowing the unwholesome qualities to diminish. And we're not allowing unwholesome qualities to arise. We're nipping them in the bud. This is right effort. And at the same time, we can recognize when there's wholesome qualities in the mind, when we're practicing loving kindness, compassion, when there's generosity happening, when we're experiencing goodness in our speech, when we speak in ways that are beneficial, that are harmonizing, that are kind, and always true, of course, then we can feel wholesome qualities, and we can allow those qualities to manifest. We can allow them to flow. We can allow that contribution into the space around us. And any wholesome qualities that we don't have, we can recognize. I'm a really jealous person. I don't have mudita. I don't enjoy other people's good fortune. I just want it for myself. I feel a lack. I feel empty and hollow. When I see others doing well, it makes me feel like I'm inadequate. Okay, I can appreciate there's jealousy here, there's envy. There's no mudita. I don't have that quality. So I'm going to bring that quality to mind. I'm going to make a conscious practice of developing mudita, sympathetic joy, delighting in the good fortune of others. I'm going to bring that into my life. And so we can do that. We can actually develop qualities that we may not have. Many people struggle to practice metta, to practice loving kindness. People say, I hate loving kindness. It brings up aversion. It brings up resentment and perhaps past karma around the lack of love, the lack of care, the lack of goodwill that we have experienced. We can observe that. The beauty of being willing to consider developing loving kindness is that we can do it, and we can see what is obscuring that. We can see what lies in the way of metta. So this is a tremendously helpful practice for us. So any unwholesome qualities that we have, let's bring in the opposites. And any wholesome qualities that we don't yet have, we recognize we've really not developed them, then let's develop them. Take in the Buddha's teachings. hear what he has to say about what is wholesome, and develop those qualities. And we don't have to kind of struggle and fight to develop them. We just have to bring them to mind, consider them. Love, loving kindness. What is that? What does it mean for me? How have I ever experienced that? Maybe not myself. Maybe I've experienced watching other people being kind to each other. Maybe I did experience it once. Maybe I love or have loved a certain animal, a certain lovely, sweet animal. Or if I watch a certain movie, I might feel some sense of love. Whatever and however we can know this quality, learn this quality, and then start to notice, what does it feel like when I feel care? I feel gratitude, or I feel a sense of well-being here. What does it feel like? Can I cultivate this? Can I grow this one? Well, of course we can, if we choose to. We are incredibly powerful. Nelson Mandela said, if only we realized how powerful we are. He realized his power. He realized he had the power to forgive, extraordinary ability to let go of past wrongs and to move forward. Somebody who can teach us so much about loving kindness and compassion and forgiveness. Didn't the Buddha say to it, if you really want to follow my teaching, then even if somebody's torturing you to death, you should have a heart of loving kindness for those people. It's amazing what we're capable of. And it's obviously, when you consider that scenario, what is the best way to relate to such a situation? And we can really know, actually, yeah, I don't want to die with a heart full of hatred and fear. I want to die with a heart of loving kindness, just as I want to live with a heart of loving kindness and compassion and forgiveness. So we can know these things, and knowing these things, we can then practice in such a way that we develop the wholesome qualities and we let go of the unwholesome qualities. We practice right effort. And as we practice right effort, we observe the Kilesa, we observe the hindrances, we work with them, we patiently endure and really allow ourselves to be conscious of what's going on inside. As we do this, we're developing right effort, we're developing so many good qualities, and we're developing mindfulness. And as we develop these great factors of the Eightfold Path, we can begin to experience peace. We can begin to experience a mind that can focus, that can be still, that can be peaceful. Gradually, we start to recognize these possibilities, and we start to offer not reactivity, not harm and hurt, but love, compassion, and peace into the world. Sammā-vāyāma